Airborne School. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Sorry that you guys had to sit through almost 3.5 minutes of me doing nothing, but I went ahead and went live. Looks like I do have maybe my one person or if it's just me, which is fine. Hey, it's Gary. Yes, it's Gary's here. Awesome. Nice to see you, Gary. You're here for the pre-show. I'm actually not going to really get started for another half an hour. So if you have any questions or anything like that, or want me to talk about anything or any subjects at all, just let me know and I can add those in. Like I said, this is the pre-show, so I'll kind of run down what kind of the plan today is. Plan today is going to do our safety briefing. Of course, we do that every Thursday for the weekend. We'll do the Thursday. Then we're going to do some Sargent's time. I'm going to talk about, going to focus on Airborne School, specifically how I got into Airborne School, how some folks can get into Airborne School, and then the qualifications for it. It's easier than you think. So that's going to be that. And then after that, I do the Airborne School. I'm sharing 3 Joe things from the past that I got, and then just question and answer, and then we'll wrap it up. Y'all, you're quarantined, Gary. I'm sorry to hear that. So, well, at least you get the free vacation, right? Or hopefully it's free. Hopefully your company and whomever you're working for is providing you some respite during your time of quarantining. And also, I hope if you think about it, if everybody's supposed to be working from home like they're supposed to, especially in my state, you should be already quarantined, which is crazy because my state's crazy. Anyhow, so that's kind of I won't get on that soapbox. That's what this channel's about. So, like I said, we're gonna still have a half an hour, so I'm just kind of hanging out, talking to you guys on here, and then we'll get started at 6. So yeah, qualifications have mass. That's true. So. That's sad. No much. You're a machinist. Oh, my wife has actually done accounting for manufacturing companies, and so I always in one of them was called Viper, and she's a controller of the company. So I always call her the controller Viper, and so I always think she's this evil cobra because the other company she works for too is called Shield. So that's supposed to be the good company. So I kind of like that. That's kind of funny. That's cool that you're a machinist. So I'm gonna grab some water too, because I'll need that for my little talk tonight. But hopefully, if you like that rundown, if you have any ideas for the show, just go ahead and shout them out. Once again, thanks Gary for being here. He's a good pal. I see him on Twitter a lot, but I don't ever always shout out to him. I'm not the best at people remembering people's names. So, well, she's my wife. Well, yeah, she's the best. My wife is the best. If it wasn't for my wife, I would probably be in a gutter somewhere, or I'd still be in the army looking to be on deployment. I'm like, hey, send me to Russia if I was still in. But my wife saved my life, so she's the best. And my wife, yeah, she's evil, but she's good at the same time. I think she's kind of conflicted, kind of like when Zorana got conflicted with Mainframe. So if everybody, some little GI Joe drops that on there. I like actually I've featured one of my featuring is with a Mainframe manning the law, and then I have Zorana leaning over him and saying sweet nothings to him or something to that effect, because I like that kind of romantic shit. I know some people say that in the comic book, like Road Pig is supposed to be more in love with her or something. I never read the comic book. I'm sorry. You know, you comic book guys out there, you guys are, it's great. I just never read them. And, I'd be interested in reading them. There's guys who do comic reviews of them. I know the Commander does. I know I think Timmer does. I know Shinobu 2U does. He's on here. I can't remember his YouTube channel, but Shinobu 2U does. He does a lot of the modern comics. Is really cool, and does a lot of modern figures. I need to start watching his stuff because he'll fill the void that Joe Fan 82 had, because I miss that guy. I don't know what happened to him, but I miss him. So you should read them. I know. I don't read well. I'm a slow reader. I don't know if anybody caught one of my tweets. I actually learned how to read off of Calvin and Hobbes comics when I was a kid, because I struggled reading as a kid. Of course, I read whatever they put in front of me. Obviously, as a kid, I really had a hard time. But my always choice was reading Calvin and Hobbes, because they always had really big words in it, and so I always had to go and look up what those words were, or ask my parents or whomever was close to me what those big words were. And Calvin was doing something silly, and Hobbes was doing something, being Hobbes. Of course, I always found Hobbes is because he was all about nature. He was always the calming effect of the two. So. Oh, do you? Do you, Gary? Do you review? I'm sorry. See, you understand, Gary. I don't know. Names are a mystery to me. You need to. If I had a GI Joe and if I knew that your name was now I'm embarrassed. It is. I'm talking one of the Joe. It is the Joe on Buck. That's how can you not be an expert if it's not Joe on Joe? I mean, come on. Yeah. Like then, yeah. Wow. Now I feel embarrassed. Well, thank you, Gary. I appreciate that, but I'm still going to get some water, and we still got about half an hour to go. As Gary blows me up in the comments for my ignorance, but that's okay. It's okay to be ignorant, because you can learn from ignorance. If you're stupid, you won't learn. So I'm going to get some water. That's funny. Oh, I'm horrible young man. I can't make connections. It's hard for me. Something. That's right, Gary. That's why. Oh, you're bored. Is that why you're hanging out with? Oh, see, Gary. See, Gary in his chat is shouting out what it is. He's bored, and so that's why you come to my stream you get safety briefings and bored, and then it's a cure for boredom. It's the two. So that's funny. So like I said, anybody who's watching this on the replay, you'll probably skip the first half an hour of it or so, because it's just me talking to Jerry and having fun. Hey, I enjoyed Gary. I used to go into back in the day when Twitch TV was Twitch TV, and they had Justin TV at the same time before Twitch got big. And I used to go into people's channels, that one person playing a game, like a lot of strategy games, like one of the jokes I used to, this is my famous joke I always tell everybody, how I break the ice with people who are playing the game, but I'm the only person in the stream. So I used to say in one of the games, it's Attila. In an Attila game, you can have all these diplomat actions with all these other kingdoms and stuff. And so one of the things in the kingdoms is you can marry off your children, but you can trade your children for food in the game. So I always told people they should sell their children in the game because you could do that. And it was always hilarious. And also, so the word goat also a baby goat is a kid. So I would always tell them, like, when they go into towns, they need to burn down the villages and make sure they capture all the goats, which are the babies, which are kids. So hey, I see Cujo made it here. Thanks for making here. I know you're on a busy schedule. You're leaving where you're at and some planting yourself and finding a new life. That's awesome. I'm glad you made it here. So like I said, this is kind of the pre-show. Like once again, if you're watching the replay, you can skip the first like 30 minutes of it because it's just me going on about talking with chat and stuff. Oh, McDowell's here too. McDowell's a great guy. If you guys don't know McDowell, he's another Northwest brother, so you need to check his channel out. He needs to grow. He's a great guy. I have something in plans. Works with me and him here coming up next month. I'm going to be bebopping around, so maybe we'll get something going. We'll see how it goes now. And then, we're just going to, like I said, just trying to chill. Like I said, I have about half an hour left. It's funny because I know streamers don't know each other. It's always funny as fans. It's funny because I'm coming at this more of a fan perspective because I'm no creator by no means, and I'll be the first one to admit that. But streamers don't really know each other, and it's very comical to me. Like when you talk to them, like you would think, like the commander would actually know this, not an obscure streamer, but just like somebody else. Like he didn't actually know the G.I. Joe bird crew at first, and you kind of think of those things, and as a fan, you don't realize that because you think, oh, these guys talk about the same things, they're into the same thing, so obviously they know each other, but they don't. And so it's funny as a fan, I don't know if like I'm bringing with Gary and Cujo and Down. I don't know if these guys have really talked very much, and so I'm hoping it's like, well, maybe they'll talk through me, in a way. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not getting anybody's business or nothing though. But I'm just kind of just talking. So I'm crazy. So like I said, so that's why I want to be like. I'll talk to you guys about some stuff, but once again, about half an hour till I actually get started. But well, actually 26 minutes now, 25 minutes. But no, what I was saying is that I want to be like the community ad man. I enjoy finding people's works and being able to highlight it, being able to go like, oh, that guy drew something cool, or that guy has a cool review about something, or that guy writes some good poetry, or draws something, or has a good storyline, or they're doing the play motion stuff, with all the creators and stuff. I like being the ad guy, being able to take whatever they have and not take it and say it's mine too, but be able to throw a funny joke on it and be an ad and guy, and hopefully that somebody, hopefully someone else will see it and they'll enjoy it too. I enjoy doing that, and I don't know. Hopefully, I know I don't spell well and all that kind of stuff. I do try, and so I hope you guys people enjoy the jokes, the silliness, because I think a lot of us, we need to bring our own light to the world, and that's what I'm trying to do. I want to highlight people who want to be in power and want to empower other people, and I mean, they don't have to do that, but just good people. I think there's a lot of good people out there, and I think it's not my goal, my role, or whatever. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy pointing out good people. So, and if you are a good person, I don't point you out. It's not because I don't think you're a good person. I just don't know you that well, and I don't know, and things of that nature. So it's like it's funny because I noticed on one of my tweets, I always follow around G.I. Joe Bird because those guys are always hooked up with really cool people, and I live a simple like good job comment, and I know, hopefully it doesn't sound cynical, and it doesn't sound mundane if I say it to you. It's just me saying like, hey, good job to you, and just give that maybe that you're having a crummy day and you throw something up on Twitter and then you got a good job from somebody, or a retweet from somebody, or whatever, and maybe that just kind of brightens your day a little bit. It would brighten my day, and so I figure just that's what I can try to be. Just bring that light. Be happy. There's nothing wrong with being happy. And when you go and if you stare into the darkness too much, it consumes you. I have some other things I'm going to say. So yeah, GI Joe Berg is one of the best. I keep on pushing those guys, and I hope they don't mind. But I want them to be like a hub. And I don't know if Cujo's trying to push this or not or whatever. But I think they're such a hub for everybody. I love when they showcase people's works. Oh my god, it's so wonderful. I know that's not everybody's style, and it shouldn't be, especially if you have a long-standing podcast and you're really into, you have your fan base and you really into what you're doing. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just for me, it's just like it's the hub. I've met so many cool people through them, and I know it's just fun. I like that fun. So yeah, I hope for someday. I'm kind of reading the chat, but I'm not. So I'm just kind of rambling because that's what I do. It's my channel, and I can. So, but yeah, I just hope maybe hopefully I'll, not that I'm going to be big enough to do that because I might want to be like influencer or nothing like that. I just hope that maybe some people get connected just because they knew me. Oh, this, they go and talk to me and then, not, I hooked me up with the other people, but if you're cool enough, you will eventually be cool enough to hang out with other people. That's how it works. You don't, obviously not friends with people right away, but obviously, it grows. I don't know. I know. Yeah, I'm rambling. Yes, that's what I do. But, I know it's kind of fun. Is we talk about what our favorite like GI Joe characters and stuff, but I like to take like little, kind of be almost like my own subpentor and take my own little aspects from each one of them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah, I do. I retweet the Joe on Joe podcast. They're great guys. I don't always catch their show. I'm gonna be honest. It's hard to catch everybody's stuff. There's only so many hours a day. I have a family. Of course, I have real life. And so it's hard to catch everybody's stuff. But when I do, it's great. It's just saying, when I catch everybody's stuff, it's great. But it's just the way it is. I mean, I have to get past that. It's my own personal hurdle. Sometimes I think like some streamers get mad or some people get mad if you don't retweet their stuff or you don't comment on it. And I go, oh no, I don't want to disappoint you in any way. I don't want you to feel slighted. So because I don't know, but I don't know. That's how I feel. I just like to say, I think in life we all have our parts to play, and God gives us those parts in whatever you do, and you carry out that part, and those paths and those pathways we go down, there's going to be rocks and there's going to be thorns and there's going to be trials and tribulations, and all of us have our scars, be they deep, be they long, be they big, be they visible or not. We all have our scars, and I think as long as we understand that and we have that understanding with each other, we can be that salve for each other, that light salve, healing salve for each other. I know I keep on preaching about stuff, but it's my soapbox, my channel, so I can. But so I just that's how I kind of want everything to be, at least in my own space, is just to be that kind of like, hey, we're all here just to try to help each other, just whatever we're going through. So, like I said, obviously I'm not a professional in any of this kind of stuff. So if it's too deep, I'm gonna say, hey, I'll give you phone numbers and some resources, and I'll be an ear for you. But obviously, you need to get the help you need to get. So like I always say, you're gonna bring your arm's broken, leg's broken, you're gonna get your brain pan fixed too. So I know McDonald's time to go. I'm preaching. That's what I do. I was a sergeant for many years. I started off as a private first class because I had some college, and then I became a specialist. I got pinned to specialist when I was in Afghanistan early because they had put an exception in for me because I was doing such a good job. And then I told them I was getting out, so there was no point sending me into NCO schools or anything like that. So they threw me in the ration room, made me my own boss and say, hey, as long as you don't screw up, you're reporting stuff to us, you're all right. So that's what I did. And I got out and finished my degree, and I went to guard for a while. And then because had my degree, I had enough points to get promoted, but I did lots of paperwork. I was in charge of lots of stuff, a lot of medical stuff, a lot of getting guys the care they needed, money in their pocket if I could. I never paid guys late. And they never had to worry about me not paying them. Sometimes NGV wouldn't pay them, but that wasn't my problem. That wasn't my fault. I did what I could. So I've always taken care of guys, and I've experienced a lot. It's funny. We all sit and we all like think, oh, that other person's so much better than me, or that's especially on social media because all you hear is the good stuff. But you sit back and you get so awestruck and starstruck or whatever by other people's accomplishments. You forget. I think people forget to sit back and go, gosh darn, I've lived a crazy life, whatever happens to be, even if you went down past you shouldn't gone, but you survived them. And so, I mean, everything is really interesting if you think about it. That's why, like I said, I have a little while before I really go into it. Like I said, if you don't want to hear me on my soapbox, skip the first 30 minutes of the stream, and then we're starting about 6 o'clock. So, no, but it's just like that's why I rail against postmodernism so much. It's just I'm disgusted with it. I'm so disgusted with postmodern because everyone understands postmodern. Think The Simpsons. Think deconstructive theory of everything's boiled down to its simplest form. You're looking through things through different lenses, be it Marxism, whatever lens you want to look at it through. Through Marxism or capitalism, or whatever kind of lens. It's what This is what postmodernism does. It breaks things down. But the problem with doing that, you bring things down. You strip it of its beauty. You strip of its meaning for meaning's sake. Yes, that a statue can be built for shitty reasons, but doesn't there's still some beauty in that statue, or there's still some beauty in the sadness. So I'm more of a going back to a romantic feeling of time. Not romantic as in lovey-dovey romantic. I'm talking about 1800s into the mid 1900s ish, before the World Wars. That's what I'm talking about, really, or I guess be early 1900s. But I'm just so tired of postmodernism. I don't know if anybody else feels it, but just this constant beating down of things, just and being critical, and everything has to be stripped down to some kind of meaning. It makes things meaningless, and at the end of the day, can't things just be to be? I can look at a sunset. I don't have to worry about. I can see the beauty in it, but I don't have to worry about. Oh, I have a pretty sunset because I have pollution. That's what postmodernism. That's what it does. It breaks it down. Oh no, it's all the pollution that makes the sun look nice. Well, sometimes the sun can just look nice for being nice. So, like I said, that's where I'm at. Yeah, wampum wampum. That's what I do. I'm sorry. You came early. That's what you get. You get the crazy. Remember, I'm certifiably so now, so I can certifiably say that I'm mostly crazy. Yeah, yeah. You take that one, Gary. You add that. I want to see these things quoted on some podcasts. What is it? Oh gosh, I can't. Teague and I can't remember his brother's name. They do a lot of movie reviews. I met them through Painted Plastic. I don't know what happened to Painted Plastic either. I missed that guy. But they do Teague and I can't remember his brother's name. They do a lot of movie reviews. So the Nerds in Attic, I believe, or something to that effect. I like this guy. I told him the other day, it's like my goal in life is to be quoted in one of your episodes because they're funny guys. I found them because I play a lot of Allies and Access, and I was just kind of like, oh, there's other expansions. It was kind of cool to learn. So it's funny how you just going to run into people. I ran into them a long time ago because they had one of those episodes, but then I met Painted Plastic through Cobra Commander because he was a customizer. I talked to him, and just being a general nice guy, they go on how I am, and yeah, and so I don't know where I'm really going with that, but yeah, so it's just kind of funny. So I don't know. Yeah. Literature class, well, yeah, but you didn't have to. You didn't have to always use the postmodernism lens in literature class. I was to be honest with you, I was a humanities minor and a social science major because I didn't want to write a thesis paper for my history paper. And literature, I wanted to do philosophy because I thought philosophy was fun. So that's why I kind of balance those lines. But I always brought history into literature constantly. And I think sometimes I think the teachers got annoyed because I would I would monopolize a lot of time. Yeah, you listen to me ramble. You couldn't see why, but I would always sum up everything the professor was saying in literature. Like if I was talking about the Great Gatsby or something, I'm like, well, okay, the Great Gatsby is predicated on the opulence and the decadence of the 1920s. So you have your capitalism, the runaway capitalism. But then what you're doing there is you're putting a Marxism lens on it, but you don't have to do that. You can say, well, the Great Gatsby is beautiful because the suffering of the main character, because he goes from nothing, goes off to war, finds him, does what he does in war, comes back. So that in itself is beauty. So it just depends on how you want to look at it. Oh, you were an archaeologist. What'd you do with that, McDowell? That's what I want to know. No wonder. No, I bet your wife makes better money than at least mine does. I work in social services most of my life, but my wife is an accountant, like I said. But yeah, if you're an archaeological major, I'm betting your wife is. If you're up there, I'm guessing probably you're some kind of technology or nursing. I'm thinking nursing. Not because well, not just because, but not because she's a lady, but just because the idea that you're up there probably around OHSU, possibly. I don't know where you live, and by anybody who's listening to this, I wouldn't tell you where you lived anyway. So just, I'm just rambling. So yeah, I don't know. Everything doesn't have to have meanings, though. I disagree with that statement. I think sometimes things can be just to be. I don't know. Yeah, of course you didn't do anything with it. That's why I went social science instead of writing a thesis paper for my history degree. So I can say, "Oh, look, I'm a social scientist, so I can go work in social work." Hee. Yeah, yeah. You have to think smart. I had a year left when I came back. So, oh, you went to Israel once, huh? How was that? I think that'd be cool. I went, obviously I went to Afghanistan, but I've been all over the United States. So, anyway, so like I said, oh, we're hitting about 12-minute mark, so we're getting there close to the start of the show. But I think you guys are getting more entertainment out of the pre-show than anything else. It's not so scripted. Well, I take that back. Even the show itself is not scripted. I just try to keep a somewhat of format. You got your safety briefs from Sergeant's time, sharing bullshit, and then telling stories. And talking. That's what I wanted to be about. So, like I said, anybody out there that's kind of tuned in late or whatever. Once again, I'm They Gone. You can find me at They Gone at 238 on Twitter and here on the YouTubes. I don't have a Facebook because I had a Facebook account once, but I deleted it. I don't know how to get it back. So, whatever. At any rate, but just welcome to my little talk section here. Is the Sergeant's Times with me. And so, like I said, we're going to get started here in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So I'll probably check my schedule a couple times, get a drink of water. Talk to one of yourselves. If you have any questions, once again, always post them in the chat that way, I think. And then down below, also, Facebook's toxic. That's what I keep on hearing. I don't know why. Well, people say Twitter's toxic too, but it doesn't have to be. It depends on who you associate yourself with, really. Anyway, but if you have any comments, you can comment them below there too. I'm open for questions all the time. If I see your question, I think it's inappropriate, I probably won't answer it because that's what I do. So, but thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. So we're gonna get started about 10 minutes. I'm gonna check the signals as I don't know if I learned that word from Cujo, but I want to coin it. And I also coined a lot of terms that hopefully some people, I don't know if they use it now, like replay. I don't know if people use, if I coined that term, but I hope I did. I think it's awesome. But if you want to use it, I don't care. It's like Joe Bro. Oh, I am sharing something today that will be the origins of Joe Bro. If you have any questions about if you ever were wondering or why I use the hashtag all the time, I do have a story that was that, and I missed this guy too. Like I said, there's a people. That's what I don't. It's not like I don't like about Twitter. I guess Twitter and most social media is like regular life. People kind of come and go. They fade in, they fade out. I think a lot of people get burnt out on social Twitter, and I can understand that because you have the drive. Oh, I gotta get people to know all my stuff and like what I stuff. But to me, it's not really about the liking or the retweeting. It's more about the comments. I'd rather have comments. I'd rather people like, oh, that sucks. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Those pictures of those G.I. Joes, the lighting's bad, and this guy's a pain in the ass. I'd rather have that than a like personally because it's the interaction. I mean, because maybe I can turn that guy around. Maybe I can say, oh yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I can learn something from him. You never know because you never know where conversations go. You can begin in conversation however you want to. Really, that's what social media does. You can unplug. You can turn them off. So, like I said, I'm going to get started here in about 9 minutes. 9 minutes. And then we'll get going. Twitter's the worst overall, but yeah, that's true. If you do, I don't know why is it the worst overall. I just don't. Is it just who you interact with? I mean, I guess I don't know. I start arguments, but I always keep them very civil. And most of the time when I'm doing arguments, I use the Socratic method. Socratic method, yeah. No, yes, it's Socratic method of just asking questions and making the person defend their stance. If they want me to defend my stance, I will. But I keep you just keep it civil. I guess that's the difference. I mean, I'm not saying you don't, McDowell. I'm not saying you're not a civil person. You seem like a nice guy to me, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't run into it, or I don't allow myself to. Or if it does get crazy, I just I just engage and go whatever. I've never blocked anybody. I've been blocked a couple times. Well, I've been blocked 3 times. One, I don't understand why I got blocked because I was just asking questions and having a discussion. I think the guy just didn't want to hear it anymore, which is fine. But other people were still engaging with me, so I don't. Whatever, you can just mute the conversation. But he was a Civil War guy. He was a really cool guy, but he was really left wing, and I'm not so left wing. But it was just fine. I understand it. I'm a union supporter too, but I'm still, anyway. And so he blocked me, and then I got blocked by somebody else because I wouldn't agree with him because Armored Dad, he's a guy on Twitter. He posts lots of stuff. He was having an argument with him about some BS about the guy wanted something from him or whatever. I was like, dude, I don't care. It's not my deal. So he blocked me, and then I got blocked with this other person because I had an argument. Because in Oregon, we can have constitutional amendments written into our state constitution by vote. And I was just like, well, if this was such an important thing and you think that your side is so correct, why don't you put it to vote? And she's like, oh, you can't do that in Oregon. And then I brought up the site, and to her defense, the first picture I got was really fuzzy. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And I brought in the actual good screenshot of it. I'm like, here's the other picture. You know what I'm talking about? Because in Oregon, you can have ballot measures that becomes state constitution by voting, but apparently she didn't know that, but she was upset because there's other political things I can go into, but that's not what this channel's about. So I said we have about 7 minutes left. I know I keep on repeating the time, but it keeps me on schedule and keeps me focused. So showing is it is what you create of it, and I don't know. I'm trying to create it's not a happy always happy space, but just like a comfortable space where I'm going to take criticism, because I think everybody should, but just be good natured about it. And I'm gonna do the same. And like I said, I always tell people when I meet them, if I ever retweet something or I tweet something at you that's something that you've made or something that's important to you, and I say something you don't like or you don't understand or whatever, I'll delete it because it's your stuff. It's not mine. I obviously feel people should have the freedom to say whatever they want to, but I'm gonna be courteous. It's that's who you are. So. You can't say you're a nice guy and then be all mean about something, then not do what they ask you to do. That's being a hypocrite. So, and I would try not to be a hypocrite. So, yeah, I think that's hard though. I think I'm not going to try to defend community, because I think you can, if you can set the tone in your community. I think you can, but you can't always control everybody in it. Which obviously that doesn't negate all not blamability or whatever, but I don't think that to me, on a legal standpoint, I don't think you should be able to be in trouble because someone your fan is a dumbass, because there's dumbasses everywhere. Like I always say, I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumbass. But so I mean, to a certain extent, I don't. But like I said, I'm coming from this from a fan perspective. I'm not, like I said, obviously I'm only talking to like 2 people or 3 people or whatever. So I'm not coming at this as a thing. Yeah, the delete button is for. I wish they had an edit button. I really hate it. I really, what I like to do though is I like to type out my long tweets and stuff, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna send this because I don't want to deal with it. But at least at least it was there. You could have sent it. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's vindictive or not. Like thinking twice. I don't know if that's still a sin though. Would that still be a sin if you thought about it? I think so, because there are passages in there where Jesus talked about such things. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a Christ expert, nor am I like going to be a holy roller on this channel, but I do know my Bible. So I know my Bible, and Matthew's my favorite. So I'm Justin. So anyway, like I said, we have about 5 minutes left. Hopefully, people. I'm gonna probably tweet it out again and share it out again. If you are in the chat, there is a simple tweet button that you can tweet out there. It's called a share button, and there's those likes. Go ahead and like those likes. Now, I'm not really into all that. I just like the comments. I'm just joking. That's my little satire. So. I know they do. I don't understand why Twitter doesn't have an edit button. I guess me. They have that Twitter Blue or something that they're trying to get people to pay for. I mean, if anything, that's yeah. We are all sinners, but we're all saved too. So we all have the ability to be saved. That's the thing about free choice, Gary, is that you have the choice to acknowledge yourself or not. So. But yeah, Twitter does need an edit button, and I think if they were gonna have you pay for something, that's how they could suck your try as their edit button. Does Facebook have an edit button? I don't know, because I don't use it. But enough talking about platforms. Who wants to talk platforms? That's not what we're coming here for. We're coming here for some rough and tough Sargent's time with a rough and tough combat vet like me, this old spoon. No, I always tell you guys, I'm always up front. I was a cook in the Army, jumped out of airplanes, and served with some really awesome guys, and that changed my life, and things changed their lives too. So That's where I'm at. So we got about 3 minutes left. I'm going to tweet it out again, share it again. Feel free to do if you want to in the chat. I really, like I said, I need to catch more Joe on Joe, and I know I need to catch more on McDowell. But man, sorry McDowell, you just some Fortnite figures and stuff like that. I'm just not into them. Sorry, buddy. It's GI Joe or military related or nothing. That's who I am. Just like I'm pretty sure some of my stories aren't for everybody, but that's what makes us a great GI Joe community. Everybody, there's a little bit of us for everybody. That sounds like, oh, it's not like a little house in Texas, but we won't go into that. So anyway, no, but there's so many great people out there, and there's so many different ways of looking at what folks do. The real Hector, if you know him, he's a wrestler on Twitter. He's on Twitter. He has his own YouTube channel. He's a great guy. Oh my god. He doesn't do wrestling anymore because obviously he's older now. But he does some review shows and little cartoon clips too with stop motion. It's really funny stuff. And he's shown some of his wrestling matches he did too. And it's so. It's so McDowell's disagreeing with me. Don't watch my Fortnite stuff. No problem, man. Sorry, but no, but Hector, he's retired wrestler, and I don't know. It's really touching story. He did a really long like a biographic of it, like how a wrestler goes through the end and how the support of his family. It's so touching and lovely. It just kind of gives you that inside perspective of like a lot of us, I think, not men in general, but just people in general that didn't put their careers first, but did have a all-consuming lifestyle, be it like a civil service, or be it a military person, or be it like an actor or whatever. Just really, you're out there. You're not. It's not family oriented. Now, like I said, like I always tell people, I bless to God all those folks who have children from the army. That's a tough life. I just didn't choose that life for me, But I thank God for those people too. But like I said, he has a great channel. He's a real great guy. He did a review, a Star Wars. I think it was Star Wars review with his daughter. I need to rewatch that one, but it's really touching. He does some other reviews with her. I love seeing her. I love seeing her out there because the chemistry between them is really sweet, And but he doesn't always do his stuff with his daughter. He does other reviews on his own. It's really funny stuff. Really talented guy. So, yeah. Did you move on from Fortnite? Good. Oh yeah, because there was no. Well, yeah, that's true. If there's no GI Joes out, there's nothing for you to review. And with the supply problem, yeah. And then as I said, McDowell, you're not really a retro guy, are you? You don't have a lot of the older stuff, huh? Which is fine. I mean, we all come into it at different places and stuff. Yeah. Oh, did you grow your channel? Yeah, I can see why. Yeah. Oh, and yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm doing this just because I'm just BSing, or of course, if anybody ever wanted me on the channel or whatever, I would come right. I would be prepared for it. You give me questions and all that kind of stuff. I'd come right. Yeah, check out my interview with Cujo and Dustin. I can't remember his handle, but Dustin. I think that kind of shows you I can shut my mouth if I need to. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, man. Oh, have you been? Okay, from 80. Hardcore J for since 80. Oh, have you? Well, I'm sorry. I don't mean to besmirch you, McDowell. Oh gosh, and now I've upset Gary from Joe on Joe, Joe on Joe, and now I've upset McDowell, just burning all those bridges. Look at this silly little fan. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to besmirch you. But yeah, it's funny because like I said, there's so many people out there you kind of forget, and it's not like it's not like you pigeonhole people. It's just that that's what you get them known for. So, like I said, it's 6:01. So for any of you late people here, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna send out my second one more last time, then we'll get started. We got some safety brief stuff to go through, some sergeant times to get through, and then some showing off stuff, and then we'll have some answering questions at the end. As always, get live in the chat if you want to on the side that way maybe, and then of course down below after the catching the replay, and then they gone at 2:38 on the Twitter. So once again, sharing my stream out, and then going to grab myself some water. So kick back in the stream, relax. Make sure this is the water time. Make sure you're hydrated. Drink water, drive on. They say it for a reason. And if any medics out there, you know what I'm talking about. Change your socks. You gotta change your socks, folks. If you don't change your socks, I don't know what to tell you. So. If you haven't noticed yet, I laugh at my own jokes. If you can't laugh at your own jokes, What are you telling them for? And so hopefully that's kind of a laugh track. It tells you guys when to laugh too. So here we go. So once again, we're going to get the Sargent time started. Once again, my name I'm Thagon. You can find me on Twitter at Thagon238. I hang out on Twitter most of the time, and then of course here on YouTube every Thursdays at 6 o'clock Western Pacific time, or 1800 if you're in the military. So that's who I am. So we're going to do a safety brief. It's quick from the cockpit. From the hip, and then the normal safety brief that you would probably hear sometimes, or at least one I heard all the time. So if you're gonna go swim with a buddy. If you're out there swimming and it's raining, don't make sure you don't stand under a tree. If you're drinking if you're drinking, you're not driving. If you're driving, you're not doing anything else. That's from eating anything, smoking anything, or obviously drinking anything. You're out there driving because we want you to come back safe. And just saying, you get to be the guy to tell us funny stories when people are all goofy out there. So we need you. Like I always say, we need you back. So be that guy. And then also when you're out there, take care of each other. You know, be the light. Be the light for people. You know, there's a lot of darkness out there, and be that light. So. Another thing to think about, if you are out there, make sure you're stashing some money in your boot or your socks, so that way you can get, or your stockings if you're a lady or you're wearing the stockings for the tonight. Make sure you stash some money in there so you have cab money to get back, and that way you can tell a story about it. Because or if you're really out there, you need give a call out. Because it's phone call is cheaper than cuffs, so you might as well get a call out if you're in trouble somewhere and you're might not be in a place that you should be. That's even for a frame of mind too. So if you're in a down place and you're in a dark place, you don't think you can get out of it, reach out. There's always people on Twitter you'll talk to. There's always people. There's 1-800 numbers that you can get. If you talk to me and you DM me, we talk to me. I'll give you my ear, but I'm going to tell you, hey, after our conversation here, I'm going to have you call these people. I'm going to stay here until you do, because that's important. Like I always tell people, if you got a broken leg, you get it fixed. If you got a leaky brain pan, you're going to get it fixed too. So let's get out there and be the best people we can be out there. So that's pretty much that wraps it up. So just gotta be safe. We need you back. We always need you back. You're important to somebody, so get back to us. That kind of ends starting time. I'm gonna grab a drink of water, and then we're gonna go into that ends safety brief. Then we're gonna go into the starting time. Gonna get a drink of water, and then we'll hit it. Once again, if you're in the chat, go ahead and get some questions out there, and there we go. All right. Thanks for coming. The guys who did show up, I got some great people in the chat. I got GI Gary from Joe on Joe, and then I also got a McDowell from McDowell. So those are great YouTube channels. Cujo was popping in and out, and anybody else give a shout out in the chat. And once again, shout out below. So. And then, watch the replay. If you are watching the replay, the first 30 minutes of it, because I'm not going to edit because I'm crazy. And it's just me BSing. So if you don't want to get that, you can skip the first 30 minutes. All right. So I'm going to get my phone real quick because I can remember. All right. So I'm going to talk about Airborne School. So for all you people out there who are thinking about going to the military or in the military, that's going to remind you of a lot of stuff, or if you just kind of want to know about it. So Airborne School, how I got into there's different ways to get into Airborne School. Obviously, if you're going to a recruiter, certain MOSs are going to be more prone to Airborne School than others. Cook is always prone to everything because almost every single unit needs cooks. And they've been telling them for generations they're gonna phase out cooks, and you kind of saw it on deployment with KBR taking a lot of the cooking duties at your bigger bases, and even later on to the war. Apparently, that I didn't experience because I was early on in the Afghanistan war. Later on, they had some KBR cooks even out in the countryside, which is kind of crazy to me. But hey, that's what they did. So cooks, they always say is dying out, but I don't think it can, because you need cooks out there. The cooks provide more than just food. They ration the food out. They make meals. They budget. They also provide that moral support for you guys out there. Because who doesn't want a hot chow out of a crummy day? So so cooks can do anything. So when I joined to become a cook. So I didn't want to think anymore. I went to the Army, went to Fort Benning for my basic training. It wasn't integrated with females. It was all male, which I thought was better. Not that I don't think females can do it. I just think that they need to be separate. I think it causes too much problems. But that's neither here nor there. So then I went to cook school at Fort Lee. We did have females there. And then after cook school, I had a buddy I went through basic training with, AIT, and then eventually Airborne School with, who was going to go into a Ranger battalion. he was going into what they call RASP now. It's like Ranger Indoctrination Program, which is the RIP, which we called it, but I'm not sure what RASP is called now. It was a 3-week course, and pretty much they pretty much beat the heck out of you and teach you stuff and see if you're mentally able to be part of a Ranger battalion. You don't earn the Ranger tab, which that's the tab or the badge for it. You pretty much earn the Ranger scroll saying, hey, this guy can be in the Ranger battalion. So because there's a difference between a Ranger who's actual Ranger, who's in the there's a Ranger who gets the tab, and there's a Ranger who's actually a Ranger in the battalion. Not every Ranger in a battalion got the Ranger tab, but not everybody who has a tab is a Ranger. That's how I would put it. So I decided to go. He was getting me excited to do that. And I was thinking about doing that, but then I got to Airborne School. I got to Cook School, and I was like, and they volunteered for Airborne School because it was in my contract and said, hey, anybody want to go to Airborne School? And I was like, yeah, I'll go. Might as well. I got nothing else to do. So I went to Airborne School, went back to Fort Benning. Airborne School is a 3-week course. It's real super easy. The first week is ground week, where when you get there, you have to pass a PT test. I looked it up real quick. For an 18-year-old, it was like 63 sit-ups and like 43 push-ups and a 16:36 mile run, 2-mile run, which is easy. If you're not able to do 42 push-ups and 42 push-ups and 53 sit-ups and a 16:36 2-mile run as an 18-year-old kid and you're in the military, there's a problem. There's a problem. I'm sorry. I don't want to get on my soapbox. There's a problem. I think as an old man, my age, I can still do 42 push-ups in 2 minutes. So you should be able to do those things. But anyway, and then so you have to pass that PT test. I think that scores you a 70 on a PT test, and then but to be Army qualified, you have to get 60s, I think. But if I remember right, I think it gives you a 70. That's when I went there. Just to let you know, my PT times, my scores, I never got 300s or nothing, but I would max out the push-ups. I would get 100 or more usually at my age group, and then my sit-ups I sucked. I would get the bare minimum. I would get the 70%, but then I would crush the mile. I used to be able to run a 2-mile in like sub 12s, sometimes into the 11s, which is fast for someone who didn't really work. Wasn't when I really did all the time. Heck, I did a sub 11 one, a sub 11 with a cigarette in my mouth. So that tells you how seriously I was taking the PT test back then. I had a cigarette in my mouth. I was running the PT test. So because we have to remember I was a group support guy, and so in group support you get away with a lot of things you wouldn't necessarily get away with in the regular Army. It just makes me laugh and smile to this day. So, but anyway, so you go through the ground week. So that's the first week. So essentially, what you're learning in the first week, ground week, every single morning you're going on what they call the Airborne Shuffle Run. It's about 3 or 4 miles, maybe, I don't remember. But it's a slow shuffle kind of run, and it's to see if your knees are going to be able to take it. Oh, you also have to do 10 pull-ups, I believe, too. So that way you can pull down the risers, which comes later. So that's you're running every morning, doing PT every morning. It was funny because at Airborne School you're off in the evening, so everybody who showed up in the morning usually were hung over from going out that night, and so you could smell the different alcohols off of people as we're sweating. Oh, you had whiskey, or you had beer, or you had wine coolers. It was kind of gross, but anyway. McDowell can only do 1 pull. Yeah, right now I couldn't do 1 pull up right now to save my life. No, I'm right there with you, buddy. But I could probably still do the push-ups. So push-ups aren't hard. It's all about form. Anyway, back to my story. So the ground week. So the ground week, we're doing run slow. You can smell all the alcohol off of people, and then you're learning how to do a PLF, which is parachute landing fall. I can go through it. You're pretty much learning how to just feet knees together, put it, and fall over as a let your body get the shock through its whole. The shock of hitting the ground through your whole body, essentially. So you'll learn how to fall off, higher and higher things. So that's the first week, and then the second week is tower week. Tower week, there's a 36-foot tower. It's not that very. You go off this kind of out of this mock door, like you're jumping. You do just think of Band of Brothers if you've seen it. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 4,000, and then your chute opens up. And then what they do, they're judging how you're going out the door with your feet and knees together and things like that. And then after you do the tower week, and then there's the 190-foot tower, or whatever it is the big towers you see at Fort Benning. There's like 4 or 5 of them, kind of in a field, and they have 4 little spokes coming off of them, and then you go up. They lift you up in the parachute harness and all the way to the top, and then they let go. They let go of the harness, let go, and you simulate like you're gonna land. It's really cool. Lots of times people don't get to do the big tower because the winds, because they wanted the winds to really high up to push you into the tower and get stuck. When you first get to Airborne, I forgot to tell you this. When you first get to Airborne School, they have you all lined up your information, and they have this plane fly by, and they throw this dummy out of the plane, and it shows you what happens if the parachute doesn't deploy properly. It goes into like a cigarette roll, and you just go straight down, and you see this dummy hit the ground and go plop. But they make it feel like it's supposed to be real, but it's not. Anyway, so like I said, you got ground week, and then you got the tower week. The 2 towers. It's really fun. Just relax when you're there. Just make sure you're running everywhere, because they're making sure you're building up your muscles and your legs, and you're doing push-ups, because you do pull-ups before lunch, you do pull-ups after lunch, you do push-ups wherever you go and stuff like that. So you're building up your upper muscles so you can pull down what they call parachute risers, which I'll get to in a second. But like I said, it's fun. I think it was one of the easiest schools I ever went to. It was easier than basic and all that. Like I said, to become a paratrooper was easy, but to be in a paratrooper unit is hard, because those guys do really hard stuff. For me, it was easy because I was in a SF unit, so our jumping was a lot different. We didn't do mass attacks and all that craziness like 82nd Mountain Division or any of those kind of guys do, or Rangers or whatever. But it was fun. Anyway, so you go through Tower Week if you get through it, and then the next week is like jump week. So I think you have to make 5 jumps. You have to do one Hollywood jump to get used to it, one jump with gear and stuff, and then and then one Hollywood jump at night, and then one Hollywood jump with gear, and I think another night jump. Another night jump with gear and everything, and so it's pretty much all you're doing that week. And it was funny because all during the training, whenever I did anything, I would screw it up. I would screw up the first time I would do anything. It didn't matter. It was coming off. It was going off the towers, or if it was the doing parachute falls, anything. The first time I would do it, I would just flop down. It was horrible. But then I would watch, the other guys doing it, and I would start seeing, because there was a lot of people there, and I would watch and see them do it. And then the next time I would do it perfectly every single time. And so the black hats, that's the instructors, they're supposed to be all mean and gruff, and they can be, but it just depends on if you're an a-hole or not. And he would always get on me, like, oh, you can't get right. And then I would get right, and they're all right, you can't get right, I guess you can. And he was a really cool guy. And I can't remember his name. He was an African American guy. He was a black hat. He was a really cool guy. And then you go through the jump rate, and then I remember when we were marching, we were all geared up with the parachutes and stuff. We were marching to the bird. I kind of tripped a little bit. It's like, oh, he walked by. He's like, oh, are you nervous? Are you? And I'm like, no, no, Sergeant Airborne. So you have to say Airborne after everything. It was really cool. So, oh, hey, look, it's my favorite friends and your favorite friends. It is What's on Joe Mind. They're in the house. Thanks for coming today. I hope you guys have a big show tomorrow, like you always do. I know I'll try to be there tomorrow for that one. But anyway. So I'm about done with that story. So I did my 5 jumps, and it was fantastic. It was an easy time. I remember the most from jump school. Remember obviously the fun times with my friends and stuff, but was on the night jumps. We were jumping in between the border of Georgia and Alabama, and it was so dark, and you was no city lights or nothing, and you jumped out, and I just remember when I was in the air in the parachute after counting to 4, it opens up, blah blah, and then looking up, I almost forgot to drop my gear because I was looking at the stars. It was just like I've been mostly a city boy, little small towns. You still have light pollution, but seeing the stars like I did, I was awestruck. Because if I was awestruck how beautiful it was, and it was in the dark, and then I remember I'm like, oh shoot, I need to drop my gear. I pulled the line of the gear on foils, and then I do my parachute landing and fall, and then get my gear and stuff. But it was just one of those moments that I always say nowadays we have cameras and everybody has cell phones and we record it, but it's just that image in my mind that I think over time either it has gotten better or it's gotten worse. I don't know, but it's just one of those things that just sticks with me, and I'm pretty sure like everybody out there has those moments. I mean, the crew from what's on Joe Mind, I'm sure they have many memories of those moments that just grab your attention, and you hold on to it forever. Joe podcast, those guys and Gary, they probably have those moments too. And McDowell with our children, you have those moments all the time. That's why I think that the children are God's blessing, because you see those moments. Hey, and then look, Cujo's back in the house. So like I said, so that's kind of Airborne School. After Airborne School, the guy really wanted me. He's like, "Oh, come on, you're gonna go join up the Rangers. Let's go to a Ranger bat." And but my orders had changed. My orders originally were to go to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, to be part of a fifth group there, I think it was, or fifth or seventh. I think it was fifth. But then my orders changed to come to Fort Lewis, and I told the guy, I'm sorry, because Ranger Bat, there's two in Georgia, and there was one in Fort Lewis, I think. Now it might change now, but so I did have a 1 in 3 chance of going back to Fort Lewis, but I was just like, no, I had my orders to go Fort Lewis, being part of the first group, and that's what I did. And then my life was ends after that. It was great. So that's Sargent's time. I got a little what Airborne School is like. Once again, if you are going to Airborne School, just make sure you're passing those PT tests. Even the new ones now. Like I said, just run a lot. Get used to running a lot, and maybe put a helmet on, and just being excited about it. When you get there, just have a positive attitude. It's an easy school. Once you get past the first couple of days of getting into the school and passing PT tests and all that, it's easy. You have such a great mixture of people too. So you had me as a cook, and then some lower listed people. You had some upper listed people, and then we had these PJs. If you don't know what a PJ is, it's a pararescue, and they're Air Force Special Forces guys. Because they have to go through Airborne School too, just like the SF guys. Everybody does. So they have these PJs there, and so the Black Hats are trying to. That's what they call them, the Sergeant Airbornes. The Black Hats were trying to get under their skin and stuff because they were PJs. But they couldn't do it because these guys were PJs. I mean, you PT guys, those guys until the cow comes home, and they're never gonna get tired. And so it was funny seeing the different interactions between. We even have different branches there too. Our platoon sergeant, because they always choose one of the students as a platoon sergeant, was like an E6 or E7 Air Force guy. He's a really cool guy. He's a real straightforward guy. He's a really nice guy and stuff. And yeah, it was just a great experience. It's easy school. Just run and get your PT up and have fun with it. Just don't be afraid of heights, and you can do it. I mean, you can do anything you put your mind to, really. Like I was telling before, this always goes back to my importance of mental health and empowering yourself. We all have scars out there. We all gone through our trials and tribulations. God gives us that path, and then along that path there's gonna be some rocks and berries, and not berries, but bushes and thorns that you're gonna nick and cut yourself on. And some of those scars will be deeper than others, and some of those scars you're not gonna be able to see. But everybody's got them. And I think that if we just try to be that healing salve and that light for people, I think it'll make it a lot better. I think that's just kind of my ending message for my Sergeant's Times tonight. Even whenever you're doing out there, be able to give it your all and be there and live for that moment. Just like I saw those stars, I lived there for the moment that I remembered. I got to drop my gear, or I'm going to break my ankles, because you're talking about adding another 150 pounds of gear onto you. And so what you're doing, once you get to the tree line, you want to drop it, so it gives it time to hit the ground. Go flurl down off the line and then hit the ground first things you can land. So hopefully you don't land on it or anything like that. But anyway, I digress. So that ends Sergeant's Time. That was parachute stuff. Once again, if you're coming in the stream late, you can probably skip the first half an hour of it, or at least the first 5 minutes of it. That's just me sending out my signal, and then the first half an hour is just me talking shop and having fun with guys. So we're gonna go into sharing time. I got 3 things to share, and like I said, I always like to share gifts I get from people and prizes and stuff. The first one's an old gift. If you guys ever wanted to know why I use the hashtag JoeBro, so there was this guy a long time ago when I first got on Twitter. His name was Wolfgang von Kleur or something like that, and he made this in 2018 for me. He was a really cool guy, and I can't remember. It was like Big Daddy 77 or something like that on Twitter. I talked to him a lot when I first got on Twitter. I was very timid. He's a really great guy. I got to know him, but he did like characters of people and stuff. I told him I would trade him something for a character, but then because I talked to him, I'm a nice guy. But once again, I'm not gonna take advantage of anybody. Don't send me anything. If you send me something I want to trade with, you don't want equal or same value. No taking advantage here. I just want to have fun, and I don't even want to get big. You don't even have to follow me. I just want the conversation. But anyway, so I was talking to him a lot, and then I like Crazy Legs. Who likes Crazy Legs? So he made me this really cool Crazy Legs picture and sent it to me. So let's see if I can get the thing real. Yes, I can. So this is a really cool picture he sent me. Crazy things in the art. And he used to say he used to hang out with Duke 7-7 all the time. He does wrestling shows now, but he had his own show for a little while about G.I. Joe and did like Viper Pit podcast. He did anyway. They were two friends, but he came up with the term Joe Bro. He's like, oh, that's my Joe Bro, blah 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 blah. And I asked him, I was like, hey, can I steal that from you? And he's like, oh, you can use it all you want to. And so that's why I always use it because of him, because he was a really nice guy and that kind of stuff. So that kind of brings that up. So so that's that picture's little cool Crazy Legs character. I like Crazy Legs. Is fun. I like Crazy Legs for another reason was I knew a lot of riggers, a lot of really good rigger friends, and I lost good rigger friends. So kind of I like that kind of connection. Another gift I got is a really cool Joe related item. This is for Cobra Lang. I never say his name right. He does a lot of cool stop motion stuff. He does more than just G.I. Joe stuff. He did a Friday Night Fight stuff with He-Man, a whole bunch of characters and stuff. It's really goofy. He's from Canada. He's a great guy. But I won back-to-back prizes from him once because I was watching his channel. I feel bad because I got two prizes from him. But one of the prizes I got from him was this Crest toothpaste Cobra. It probably tells me if I just read the thing. It's a Cobra. I'm sorry about this, guys. It doesn't even tell me. It's Fun School, and I picked it out because oh no, this is why you have to prepare. Oh, it's Undertow. This is the Crest Undertow Fun School Undertow, and I remember Fun School Ronnie. Fun School Ronnie reviews a lot of these toys and stuff. And so that's why I picked that toy out because I knew one day I wanted to talk about Fun School Ronnie because he's a great guy. If you ever watch his stuff, he doesn't make a lot of stuff all the time, but he has that Fun School spin on it and the Indian spin on it that gives it a different feel to it. It's really awesome. So I won this prize from Cobra Lang because I knew I want to talk about Fun School Ronnie. See how I'm hooking everybody together. It's like I said, none of these people ever probably talk to each other, but as a fan, you think they do, but they don't. But as a fan, you would hope they would. And so I'm hopefully I can bridge the gap for people. And then he came with a little gun, and then he was strapped on, and he came with some toothpaste. And I'm not sure if it came with a toothbrush, but I know it came with toothpaste. If you Fun School Ronnie does have a video about it, I believe. So go to his channel, just Fun School Ronnie and YouTube or on the Twitter. So he's a really good guy. So that's the last thing. And then the very last thing I have to share tonight before I go into the question and answer period and wrap this thing up because I'm over an hour and 2 minutes. I feel like what's on Joe's mind tomorrow when they just keep on going. But you love it. We love it. I know we love it. And so that's but like I said, the first half an hour you can kind of skip. So here we go. And here is the last thing I'm going to share. This is G.I. Joe number 7. This is Paul Autor's comic. He wrote these, and I don't remember the artist. I'm sorry, but this is G.I. Joe Paul Autor 7. This is a real important comic book to me. I'll put it on the screen. Okay. This is a real important comic book to me for very many reasons. I'll tell you a little story real quick. I know I keep on dropping people's names, but I found I found What's on Joe Mind through Hooded Cobra Commander when What's on Joe Mind was doing a charity for all the COVID people for food and stuff. And so that's why I came and watching What's on Joe Mind and got watching them and I started talking to them and all that kind of stuff. But they had Paul Autor on their channel once as one of the guests. It was a really great episode. Oh my God, it was a great episode. Well, Paul Autor wrote this book with a lot of great people from the VA, and it's all about Scarlet dealing with mental health problems and dealing with the reactions of war and the things you think about and the things you go through and even the simple things of coming back to civilian life and with choosing all the sodas and stuff. Like when I was in Afghanistan, we didn't have very much stuff to drink and stuff, and so that's why I became in love with orange soda because no one would drink it. But anyway, so like I said, it's a very beautifully done. It's a great book. He partnered with some people from the VA that helped shape the book. It won awards this year. Paul Autor is a great guy. I love his. I even love him on. I'm not a big comic book guy, but I should be. But I enjoy him as a person though, because he has a little wiener dog he has, and I enjoy the things he says. He's a great person too. He's a good guy, and to me, that's what it's all about. I think GI Joe just kind of brings us together because we all try to be good people. And obviously, we're not all good people out there, but I think there is that common goodness in us, and we can. And through GI Joe, I mean, I'm not to get all my soapbox and crazy. I mean, we can show some light to people. So that's kind of that's my sharing for this week. I know, like I said, we had our safety brief. We had our sergeant's time. I shared some 3 things of mine, and now we're gonna wrap it up. And so if we have any questions from the peanut gallery on the side here with my great friends, I'll drop their names again. And Cujo, GI Gary from Joe on Joe, McDowell, of course, he's a great guy. All these people are great people. And then on What's on Joe Mind, of course, stop by too. And hey, if you're in the chat or you're on the Twitters or anything like that, just hook. You can always at me. I don't mind the ads. Hopefully me adding people doesn't bug them, because I hope it doesn't. But you can always at me and talk to me, DM me. I'm always open. I'm always open for those conversations. If I don't answer back to you, it's not like because I don't like you. It's just because we're all busy. So, but anybody having questions, Gary? Do you have any questions before I sign off, or I push the button? Anything is zoomed up in the back you want me to talk about, or any general life questions, military questions? I know VA benefits. I know food stamps, Medicaid insurance. I've lived a crazy life. I know this is not Joe on Joe. This is Vagon on Vagon, I guess. Anyway, so but like I said, I'm gonna get a drink of water, and then we'll go through any spiel unless we got some questions from the chat. Or once again, if you're catching the replay, make sure you're making those comments below. And like Timmer from Half Battle always says, share, like, and comment if that's your thing. Oh, you're not Joe. Oh my God. Jeez. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, they do deserve the plug. I'm crazy. You remember Gary? I forget names. That's why I won't be a very good YouTuber to people, because I'm like, oh, remember they gone? I talked to you the other day, and all that. Well, who's my favorite Marvel character? All right, so I'm not very good knowing who Marvel and DC, but I think I know the difference. So Marvel is X-Men, correct? So if I was going to go with X-Men, my favorite, and then out of that kind of thing, I'm going to go with. It's going to be weird. I'm going to go with Nightcrawler. I don't know that I remember. I don't read magazines, but I watch the cartoons and I've seen them in some of the movies. I like Nightcrawler. I like the idea that he's kind of punished from the world and was sent to the monastery and kind of shunned away, but he lives in innocence. I really liked him. And then if I'm going to go with the other side is more like Iron Man stuff, right? If I'm going to go that, or is that Marvel too? Or am I mixing them up? Anyway, if I'm going to go that side, I'll go with Captain America is my favorite. Once again, I didn't read a lot of the comics and stuff, but yeah, I like the idea of Captain America. I don't care what you do to him. I don't care how you paint him or what you want to do to him. It's the idea of Captain America that we can try to live that American dream that I fell in love with. I had an argument with a philosophy teacher once. I was trying to prove that the idea of something will always have more value than the thing itself. And he's like, well, what if I had $1 million? Is the idea of $1 million better than $1 million? I'm like, yeah, but you have to have the idea of what $1 million is and create value to it. So that in itself, the idea of the $1 million is always going to be more attainable than the ideal of it, something itself. Like, once again, if you want to go, I'll get deep into this. I don't know why this started this, but if you go into Plato talks about the cave and talks about the cave, like the reality of things are actually these shapes that are ethereal shapes of the idea, like the perfect chair. There's always this perfect idea of what a chair is, and right. Well, so I go to that and say, well, that means the idea of the chair, the concept of a chair itself, will be more perfect than any chair will ever be. But I don't know if that's too simplistic, or if I'm forgetting other philosophy things or not. But once again, I only minor humanities. I only took a couple philosophy classes. I took higher level philosophy classes even when I was a freshman in high school and college, because I wanted to have the challenge of doing something different, and they didn't have prereqs. So that's kind of answers that. I know that kind of goes there. So, and of course, McDowell would agree with me. So looking at looking at my shirts, yes. So, but yes, I wore Captain America today. I got the shirt from my mom for Christmas, and I was happy to get it. So. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I think you're right about that. I think as a people, people want all the new things. I get that, McDowell, but I have a sense when I buy things. I mean, some things I buy, I pre-order things for the first time that I ever did, but I don't think I'll ever do that again. Not because I don't think it'll come through or I don't like the waiting or anything like that. It's just I like when I find things. I like them to find me in a sense. Like I go hunting and looking for certain things, but sometimes when you can't find them, something else finds you. You know, um, yeah, hey, yeah, you can just not buy too. That's true. But like I said, sometimes things do find you that you have to buy. I don't know. For example, like when I was out the other day, just bebopping around, I bought a whole bunch of comics. I could have gone through all those today, but I didn't. But I found I just ran in. I wasn't gonna get it, but I ran into. I'll get it real quick. Uh, it's one of those character glasses. I'm not a big character glass guy or anything like that, but I mean, it was the Howdy Doody, and not Howdy Doody. It was Dudley Do Right from the Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons, and then Adam Frazier did a movie a whole bunch of years ago in 1999, I believe, and we watched it as we watched it as a family for family movie night because I saw it. I was like, this is gonna be goofy as old get out, and so we watched it as family movie night. It was pretty funny. Yeah, Moose and Squirrel. Yes, yes. I haven't seen the Rocky and Bullwinkle though. I want to though, but my kids are getting of the age now because they're 12 and 9, and so I can watch not adult movies, but PG-13 isn't so bad except for 80s PG-13. Oh my gosh. I know maybe I'm a prude now because I'm old, but 80s PG-13 was it was getting close to being bad. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm a wuss. I'm this combat bet's a wuss, but yeah, some of the PG-13 80s movies are I don't know. They're kind of questionable. Anyway, so that's that. Any more questions from the Peanut Gallery? Anybody? Anybody? It's bad, funny, but bad. Yeah, I liked it. Rock and Rock and Bowling was bad, but funny bad. I would say the same thing with Dudley Do Right. I think you would have to go into it knowing it's gonna be stupid, but it's one of those movies you watch once and go, "Oh, that was fun," you know. Yeah, there is a lot of language, even in PG. The 80s, it's crazy. I don't know if they, like I said, I don't want to say we're soft as a society. But I think we just changed. And that's fine. It's okay to change as a society. It doesn't mean you're being soft. There's just obviously there are some lines that I think are out there, but I won't go into that. That's not what it's about. So, any more questions? Any more questions from the gallery? I still got my two going strong here, Mr. Gary McDowell. Thanks for showing up and making the stream a lot more fun. So, all right. Well, like I said, I'm going out on an hour and 12, so I'm gonna wrap it up. As always, come back. You make it back to people. You're worth it. Send it to somebody. Come back. I believe you. If you're alone out there, obviously I'm always going to be with you. There's somebody. There's got to be somebody you can talk to if you're feeling down. Like I said, we've all gone through it. We've all gone through the crap. Doesn't matter how deep our scars are or what those scars are made of or how we got it. We've all gone through it. So we can all make it out together. So, come back to us. And as always, stay safe and you can't, keep careful, we want you back. All right. So I'm going to close it out. You got your free drink of water at the end. And, like I said, stay safe. If you can't, keep careful. All right. You have a good night. All right. We're going to end it right now.